Ah, I see you've returned for more wisdom from the Grand Master of Thickness.
We love to see it. First and foremost, thank you for all the incredible feedback on what you guys would like to see in the future and what's actually useful to you. I've been writing them all down and thinking about how I can explain each of them to kind of help you guys out as you climb. And overall just help you in all competitive games for that matter. So to start, one comment I got was from user Serrated Humor, and he/she/Thick Squad Battalion Leader asked something I loved and don't see many people covering because it's kind of a hard topic to cover. What do you do when you're in a tough spot? 1v2 possibly, separated from your team maybe, spotted out alone and stuck in a corner. Basically, what's the thought process to get value, if any? It's such a good question because it's something we do as gamers all the time without realizing we're even doing it. We'll be trying to answer a subconscious action with a conscious mind, so hang in there with me. Sometimes within milliseconds we process a billion outcomes and choose the one we think is best. Think Doctor Strange, baby. Except we don't have like the crazy eye of Agamotto thing on our neck. It's just
our brains.
It doesn't always work out though, so question is, what are the factors that can help us make some of them a reality? The explanation may be long, but I promise it's good food for thought, so just try to actively listen and please comment below so we can continue the conversation. You guys know I always respond, or at least try to, so it's always fun to talk to you guys. To start with this topic, I think it's important to know that this part of your brain that helps you make these decisions quickly comes from the experience, from the games you've played, and reflecting on them often. Perfect example. Battle Royale players know that a game plan almost never goes well according to plan. And what makes the mode fun is the on-the-fly decision-making and clutch plays. It's this feeling of your brain going 1 billion miles per hour and your hands just doing the work. I mentioned Battle Royale game modes specifically because they help mold that mindset that can transfer to any game, and it helps you learn how to play your life, read other players' movements and possible pathing, and overall get a feel for the pacing in a match sooner than other players. With this being said, I don't want you to feel like,
well shit man, pooping my cereal. Now I gotta download Apex and slap my meat all over the controller until I've mastered the secret of the BR.
It doesn't hurt, but you're here for Halo and not, well, BRs. Well, we are here for this one at least.
God, she's beautiful.
I mentioned reflecting earlier on past situations you were in and how this helps. You can really learn and get better without even playing at a rapid rate by doing this. Drummers do it all the time when they're not actually playing drums. Lost a match earlier today on Livefire, perhaps? Think about a few close duels or objective snags you failed at and think, well, I did this, maybe I could have done this to have a better outcome, or maybe if I had just flicked to the right instead of the left, or maybe if I had slowed this and did that. And I know I'm kind of rambling here, but the point is, if you do this, it's genius because you're actually playing matches without playing them. You're running these scenarios through your head, and your mind, well, I guess your body can't physically do what your mind hasn't imagined or perceived yet, right? So you're almost conditioning your mind to be ready for that scenario the next time it happens. It just gives your brain quicker access to what to do next time instead, subconsciously. It'll take time, but I still find myself at night, especially doing this before I fall asleep. I played last night, for instance, with my buddy, and even though I had a crazy match where I dropped a 40 bomb, I was still thinking, okay, the enemy team got 2 flat calves. At one point, could I have chilled out on the kill hungriness? Could I have sat back here positioning wise? Could I have gone for this? Did I miss this power up because of this? You can always improve, and it's good to think like this. All right, so now you're thinking,
look, man, I came here for some Halo, but this guy's just making me hella smart, dude. Whoa, it's time to open up a local business and capitalize on all this newfound knowledge and lay claim to the glory set out in my head.
I assure you I'm getting to the point. I had to mention all of that because the topic in and of itself, it's not one that I can just simply answer and say, hey,
just do this, man. Bam, you're ONYX now, Brayski.
The topic at hand gets much deeper than that, and once understood can help you climb to higher ranks quickly in any game of your choosing. Alright, so the philosophy part is over. Hopefully you're following along, and now we know a lot about on-the-fly decision making and how it is subconscious. And what if you're struggling to even get to that part though, right? And you just need some, let's say, templates for scenarios to kind of get jump started. Perfect.
Let's start with a tale as old as time.
Being outnumbered. Being outnumbered even 2-to-1 in Halo can be an immediate death sentence. However, with that being said, there's a few things to keep in mind. What equipment do you have on hand? Repulsor perhaps? Grapple? Drop wall? Repulsor is interesting because kind of besides throwing an enemy back, people forget you can also send nades back. And I mentioned this in the Game Leap video I did a while back, but what's one thing almost all players do in Halo? That's right, it's teabag. Oh, what? Hold up. I'm being told it's grenades. My apologies. Basically, if 2 thick boys rush you and you have the repulsor by default, they may attempt to nade you. Use repulsor to return that nade to sender and possibly drain their shields fully or even slightly, making the match easier for you. Or bait them around a corner, lead them to the edge of the map if possible, and send them both off. I know that one may seem ridiculous, but on recharge, I constantly bait people out of the control room and make them chase me to Hydro before I send them off the map
To visit Hades in the underworld.
Now you can also do this on live fire by B site as well, where the repulsor spawns. You can also use repulsor to super jump to higher locations, helping you escape chasing enemies. So don't forget you can also use it to just get out of situations. It's not as effective as grapple hook, but still. Speaking of grapple is also interesting because if anything, I use it to escape all the time, especially in those tight spots. On recharge a few days ago, I had 2 guys rushing me from Turbine and I was out in the open where B site is if you're on control. I legit screamed, grappled the ceiling near glass, and made it out just barely. This let me stay alive and recontest on my own terms later to actually defend B. Drop wall is almost never used right, but it is super OP if used correctly. Drop wall has multiple panels on it, and each panel can eat a BR burst, so instead of standing in the middle, stand off to the side of it and actually just long stray from one side of the wall to the other. I actually ended up doing this last night in a game on Streets, and it allowed me to get an easy double. This should guarantee you at least 1 kill if you're surrounded before you die, or maybe 2 if one of them is killed quick enough. Keep in mind, 1 nade can destroy the wall, but it can also bounce off the wall if it's not thrown at the foot of the wall. So if you're in a corner and people are nading you, you can use it to save you from nades. Specifically, think you're on Streets, maybe you're defending A, people always like to nade in A, just sit in the corner, throw the drop wall down if it's like absolutely necessary and you'll survive. I know none of these tips with the equipment guarantee you a win when outnumbered, but at least they can help you even the odds, and if you add in some solid strafing and escape tactics, you can almost certainly take out both players. These encounters will always be challenging though, and if anything, the best thing you can do is move cover to cover or jiggle peek. Okay, so let's say you don't have any equipment and you're caught in a scenario where a player is trying to kill you. Usually the situation is you just being caught off guard due to a lack of awareness, and this happens at all ranks less and less as you climb, but still it happens, so don't feel bad. Most players would just end up saying,
"Jesus, man, I can't get a break. Like, where all these guys coming from eating my booty, boy?"
and then you end up dying and try to take one of them to the grave with you. And a trade isn't always bad either. Sometimes that's totally okay. However, you're better off leaving the situation, if at all possible, and only going for a trade if necessary. That's right, my tip is run. Sometimes that's a win in and of itself. And while you don't kill them immediately, you may be surprised how many players either decide, A, I'm just going to chase him immediately even if he runs into his team, and then they'll just end up dying, or B, decide you're not worth the effort and give you time to flank. Or shit, something that happens to me personally is I end up being the one that chases, my other teammate doesn't want to go with me, I go around the corner and get absolutely salami slapped by the Chungus Lord himself. Now with more awareness, you won't end up in these situations as often, and that's really the ultimate goal and tip to avoid it all. Always try not to stray too far from your team, or at least the side of the map that your team is on, unless there's a flank reason involved, which in some cases there is, like strongholds, or maybe you're trying to set up a crossfire for oddball. Totally understand. The question at hand is a tough one to answer with one specific strategy. How do you deal with tough situations like being outnumbered or caught away from your team? The answer is really an amalgamation of all of your Halo skills, with the main factors being awareness and confidence. Confidence matters a lot more than people realize. Best part about gaming is you can break your opponent's confidence within seconds. You can also build someone's up in seconds too, so keep that in mind. If you're feeling confident, even if you get caught out, you can turn on an enemy and make those smooth, quick decisions and even outplay them. Hype yourself up a little bit. Kill 2 and made it look easy.
Go ahead and call yourself a god, baby.
It helps you, and that's all that matters. Having confidence with a bit of awareness will allow you to do unpredictable things with smooth, technical, mechanical skills, and pull it off more than you think. Being unpredictable is something you can learn a lot from watching Battle Royale game modes, but we can also cover that more in depth another time, since that whole topic is just like a long rant we'd have to go on. Next time you find yourself in these situations, ask yourself what we talked about today. Do I have equipment? What route can I use to escape if possible? If I can't escape, is a trade worth it? And those are really kind of your only options when outnumbered. But you know, we also really covered how to not run into these situations, so just kind of focus on that first and foremost. Awareness and confidence. Mainly awareness.
Alrighty, Spartan Squad.
This was by far one of the longest scripts I've worked on. I had to keep, backspacing and retyping a backspacing. It was interesting to try to get this all out of my head and try to make sense of it because, like I said, it's a subconscious action. I hope there was some nuggets in today's video
Chicken nuggets, baby.
that you can use to help you not only avoid these situations of being outnumbered, but overall be a smarter player and an ONYX one at that, daddy. I'm really thankful for the community we're building, and by all means join my Discord in the description below to talk more. We have a little Halo tab, and usually I just use it to post videos, but I'd love to honestly just have a community start there and us be able to talk about more stuff. Halo, share content, whatever it may be. Subscribe, but more than anything, just be kind to one another and helpful. Love y'all, and remember, wake me when you need me, sluts.